The world of sister wives has long revolved around Cody Brown's vision of love, faith, and family, one that was built on the fragile foundation of polygamy. But now, David Woolley, Christine Brown's husband, and the man who has brought her the peace she never found in decades of plural marriage, is opening up about what he really thinks of the lifestyle that once defined her life. His words are raw, unfiltered, and filled with emotion. In a recent interview, David didn't just share his opinion, he exposed the emotional wreckage left behind by a system built to benefit one man while draining the women who stand beside him. Fans are calling his comments the most honest and powerful take on sister wives yet, and many believe Cody Brown won't be able to ignore the truth much longer. When David Woolley entered Christine Brown's life, he didn't just bring romance, he brought perspective. After years of watching Sister Wives and witnessing how Cody Brown's plural marriage tore at the seams, David had quietly formed opinions of his own. But it wasn't until recently that he began to open up publicly, showing fans what an outsider really sees when looking into the complex, often painful world of polygamy. His perspective, unlike Cody's carefully constructed narrative, comes from love, empathy, and the experience of helping Christine heal from emotional wounds that polygamy never allowed to close. David's journey alongside Christine began after her departure from Cody's plural family, a move that shocked fans but ultimately liberated her. Their love story has stood as a direct contrast to the years of frustration, jealousy, and isolation that viewers watched unfold in the Brown household. As Sister Wives continued to capture the aftermath of Christine's decision, fans saw her blossom in a monogamous relationship that celebrated equality, trust, and mutual respect. And as she flourished, David watched the fallout between Cody and his remaining wives with increasing disbelief. In interviews and social media posts, David has never shied away from supporting Christine's independence. But his latest comments mark a turning point, a full acknowledgement that polygamy, as practiced by Cody Brown, is not just flawed, but fundamentally broken. "I've seen what it does," David reportedly said, his voice thick with sincerity. "It's not about love or partnership, it's about control. You can't truly love multiple people the same way, and expecting that kind of balance destroys everyone involved." His words hit fans like a lightning bolt, especially those who had followed the show from the beginning and watched the cracks deepen over time. For many years, Sister Wives painted polygamy as a spiritual journey, one rooted in faith and family unity. But what started as a promise of shared love quickly turned into a power struggle. Viewers saw how Cody's affection gravitated towards Robin, how resentment brewed among the wives, and how emotional neglect became the silent killer of the family's harmony. David's recent comments shed new light on this unraveling, pointing to the emotional hierarchy that polygamy creates, where one man's needs often overshadow the individuality of each woman. Christine, once silenced by fear of judgment and loyalty to her faith, has now found a voice beside David. His unwavering support and open communication stand in stark contrast to the emotional distance she endured for years. In many ways, David's stance on polygamy mirrors Christine's transformation. Where she once sought validation in a shared marriage, she now embraces self-worth and autonomy. "When I see Christine happy, laughing, and being herself," David said, "I realize how much she missed out on before. No one should have to fight for attention in a marriage." Fans flooded social media with praise for David's honesty. Many expressed gratitude that he dared to confront a subject that others, especially within the Sister Wives universe, have avoided for years. "He's saying what everyone's been thinking," one viewer posted. "It's refreshing to hear a man admit that polygamy hurts women more than it helps them." Others drew comparisons between David's gentle demeanor and Cody's explosive temper, highlighting how dramatically Christine's life has improved since finding a partner who values her as an equal. Behind the scenes, insiders reveal that David has been cautious about how his statements might affect Christine's ongoing relationship with her ex-husband, especially since they continue to co-parent their daughter Truly. However, sources close to the couple say David's remarks were not meant as an attack, but as a heartfelt reflection on the pain he's seen Christine endure. He respects the past, but he's not afraid to call out what's wrong, the insider explained. David has watched Christine rebuild her confidence piece by piece, and he knows what it took for her to walk away from something so deeply ingrained in her life. Meanwhile, the Brown family's remaining dynamic continues to deteriorate. Janelle and Mary have both stepped away emotionally from Cody, leaving him and Robin in a strained and isolated partnership. The dream of one big happy plural family has all but collapsed, leaving behind a trail of broken trust and unspoken regret. To fans, David's comments feel like the final nail in the coffin for Cody's version of polygamy, a symbolic acknowledgement that what once seemed sustainable was in truth a ticking time bomb. In Sister Wives Season 20, the contrast between Christine's joyful new chapter and Cody's crumbling world has become more pronounced than ever. As viewers watch Cody cling to the remnants of his authority, David's calm presence serves as a reminder of what real partnership looks like. Christine no longer seeks permission to be happy. Instead, she's found a life filled with laughter, family, and freedom, a life David wholeheartedly celebrates. When asked if he would ever consider polygamy himself, David laughed softly. "No," he replied. "I don't think love should be divided like that. One heart, one home, one person to share it with. That's enough. That's everything." His simplicity struck a chord with audiences who have grown tired of Cody's endless justifications. The line between faith and manipulation has blurred too many times in the Brown family's story, and David's words offer a breath of clarity. Throughout the years, Sister Wives has explored the emotional toll of plural marriage, but rarely has the discussion been so brutally honest. David's statements, though measured, highlight the deep psychological and relational flaws that often accompany polygamy. It's built on the idea that one man can meet everyone's needs, but the truth is, he can't. No one can. Someone always feels less loved, less seen, less important. His observations ring true for Christine's fans, who watched her self-worth erode under Cody's neglect until she found the courage to leave. For Christine, hearing David speak so openly has reportedly brought both pride and peace. Friends close to her say she feels validated, knowing that her choice to leave the plural marriage is now understood through the eyes of someone who loves her deeply. Quote, "David gets it. He doesn't judge her for her past. He just wants her to know she deserves to be loved fully, not fractionally," one friend shared. The couple's social media presence continues to radiate positivity, with fans admiring how naturally they complement each other. Whether they're cooking together, exploring new places, or simply relaxing at home, their joy feels authentic, a stark contrast to the forced smiles that once defined Christine's role in the Brown family. Every post seems to whisper the same message. Love doesn't need to be shared among 4 wives to be meaningful. Sometimes it's most powerful when it's just between 2 people who truly see each other. Cody, on the other hand, has largely avoided addressing David's remarks directly, yet fans suspect that his silence speaks volumes. As Sister Wives continues, the public narrative increasingly favors Christine's newfound happiness over Cody's crumbling legacy. For years, he preached the virtues of plural marriage, claiming it was guided by divine inspiration. Now, his ex-wife's husband is quietly dismantling that ideology with compassion and truth. In a world where Sister Wives once sought to normalize polygamy, David Woolley's voice represents a cultural shift, a recognition that love does not need hierarchy to be sacred. His candor isn't just about calling out the flaws in Cody Brown's approach. It's about honoring the emotional resilience of the women who lived through it. Christine, Janelle, and Mary have each walked their own painful roads to independence, and David's respect for that journey only deepens his bond with Christine. As the series moves forward, fans are eager to see whether Cody will respond or continue to retreat into his own narrative. But one thing is clear: David's perspective has changed the conversation. His honesty has peeled back the final layer of illusion surrounding polygamy, exposing the emotional cost that can't be ignored any longer. David Woolley may not have set out to become a voice of reason in the Sister Wives universe, but his truth-telling has resonated far beyond Christine's living room. In choosing to speak from the heart, he's given fans a rare gift, the chance to see love unfiltered by doctrine, ego, or fear. And for Christine, it's the ultimate validation that walking away from Kody Brown's world wasn't just the right decision, it was the beginning of everything she truly deserved. In the end, David's words echo with simplicity and strength. Quote, "Love isn't meant to be divided. It's meant to be shared between two people who give their whole hearts to each other." For Sister Wives fans who've spent over a decade watching heartbreak unfold, it's the kind of truth that feels long overdue. For years, Sister Wives has offered audiences a glimpse into the complicated emotional terrain of plural marriage, a world built on shared faith, shared love, and, too often, shared heartbreak. But now, David Woolley, Christine Brown's husband, has shattered the polished illusion that has long surrounded Kody Brown's polygamous lifestyle. In a revealing and emotional new confession, David didn't hold back. He laid bare the quiet suffering, emotional neglect, and deep-rooted flaws that he says make polygamy more destructive than divine. His words have sent shockwaves through the Sister Wives fan community and reignited fierce debate about whether Kody Brown's experiment in plural love was doomed from the start. When Christine Brown walked away from her 25 years spiritual marriage to Kody, she didn't just end a relationship, she ended a belief system. For years, she had sacrificed her sense of self to a structure that demanded her obedience, patience, and emotional endurance. Her journey toward independence was one of the most powerful arcs in Sister Wives history. But what no one expected was that the man who would stand by her side after it all, David Woolley, would become one of the most honest and outspoken critics of the very lifestyle that once defined her. In a candid conversation that fans can't stop talking about, David spoke with a mix of empathy and passion. "What I've seen," he began, "is that polygamy looks peaceful from the outside, but inside those families, there's so much silent suffering. It's not about love or connection, it's about one man trying to control too many hearts." His words hit like a hammer, not out of malice, but out of truth. For David, watching Christine rebuild her life has been both inspiring and heartbreaking. He's seen the scars left behind by years of emotional neglect, the way she once second-guessed her worth, the way she fought for crumbs of attention in a system designed to make women compete. Christine's heart was always too big, David shared. She gave everything she had, but polygamy kept taking and taking until there was nothing left for her. Her voice reportedly wavered as he reflected on how long it took her to realize she deserved more. Fans of Sister Wives have always suspected that the emotional burden of plural marriage fell unevenly on the women. Through the seasons, viewers watched Christine struggle to feel loved while Kody's affection gravitated toward Robin. They saw her confide in Janelle, clash with Mary, and ultimately reach a breaking point that forced her to choose peace over pain. David's confession now gives those moments a deeper context, one rooted in compassion for the women and accountability for the system that broke them. It's not love if one person is always giving up their happiness to keep the peace, David said in his interview. You can't ask someone to share their heart and still expect them to feel whole. His words resonated with Christine's longtime supporters, many of whom took to social media to praise him for articulating what they had always felt watching the show. David said what Christine couldn't for years, one fan commented. He's giving voice to all the women who suffered in silence while pretending everything was fine. What makes David's statement even more powerful is how gently he speaks about Christine's past. He doesn't condemn her choices or her faith. Instead, he acknowledges the strength it took for her to walk away. She believed in what she was taught, he explained. She wanted to build a family that made everyone happy. But when you realize that happiness isn't being shared, that's when you have to start over. For Christine, That moment came when her laughter stopped feeling real and her home stopped feeling like her own. Since leaving Cody, Christine has embraced a freedom she never knew was possible. Her relationship with David stands as a symbol of everything polygamy denied her: mutual respect, emotional intimacy, and unconditional love. Their joy together has been infectious, with fans watching her rediscover her smile through social media posts filled with road trips, family gatherings, and tender moments that contrast sharply with the tension-filled years of sister wives. But David's openness about the darker side of polygamy isn't just about Christine. It's about the countless women who have lived under the same structure, believing that suffering was spiritual growth. It's heartbreaking, he said. I've seen women lose themselves trying to live by rules that weren't made for them. They call it faith, but it's really just control. And it's not right. In Sister Wives Season 20, the contrast between Christine's joyful new chapter and Cody's crumbling world has become more pronounced than ever. As viewers watch Cody cling to the remnants of his authority, David's calm presence serves as a reminder of what real partnership looks like. Christine no longer seeks permission to be happy. Instead, she's found a life filled with laughter, family, and freedom, a life David wholeheartedly celebrates. When asked if he would ever consider polygamy himself, David laughed softly. "No," he replied. "I don't think love should be divided like that. One heart, one home, one person to share it with. That's enough. That's everything." His simplicity struck a chord with audiences who have grown tired of Cody's endless justifications. The line between faith and manipulation has blurred too many times in the Brown family's story, and David's words offer a breath of clarity. Throughout the years, Sister Wives has explored the emotional toll of plural marriage, but rarely has the discussion been so brutally honest. David's statements, though measured, highlight the deep psychological and relational flaws that often accompany polygamy. It's built on the idea that one man can meet everyone's needs, but the truth is, he can't. No one can. Someone always feels less loved, less seen, less important. His observations ring true for Christine's fans, who watched her self-worth erode under Cody's neglect until she found the courage to leave. For Christine, hearing David speak so openly has reportedly brought both pride and peace. Friends close to her say she feels validated, knowing that her choice to leave the plural marriage is now understood through the eyes of someone who loves her deeply. Quote, "David gets it. He doesn't judge her for her past. He just wants her to know she deserves to be loved fully, not fractionally," one friend shared. The couple's social media presence continues to radiate positivity, with fans admiring how naturally they complement each other.